Well, to the extent that there is a potential upgrade out there that the Cowboys don't want to trade for, there is a potential upgrade out there that they could pursue at Michigan. There were dueling reports yesterday from The Athletic, one from Bruce Feldman that Michigan sources believe Jim Harbaugh, the head coach there, and Chris is, I think, that's probably your favorite head coach. You have a poster on your wall, would take the Raiders job if it was offered. Vic Tafer of The Athletic, who covers the Raiders, calls that total noise. Now, that was before the Feldman report came was the Tafer report that this isn't any discussion that's within the Raiders building. This is all external. Here's what's going on with Jim Harbaugh. I can tell you plain and simple. Harbaugh wants to come back to the NFL.
That's all.
And it's not just the Raiders.
Right.
It's not just the Raiders.
No, I know. He wants in.
He wants the right spot. He wants in, and he wants to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
And I think it's as basic as, I've said this all week long, it's very simple. My brother's got one and I don't.
Yeah.
And we know how competitive those guys are with each other and everyone else. And every time I'm around John, what do I see? I see that ring on his hand. Not that he wears it around and flashes it, but even if he's not wearing it, Jim sees it. Because brother's got a Super Bowl ring and I don't.
Well, yeah.
And I want one.
And
I'm
brother's
58.
got a ring. Yeah, brother's got a ring at the expense of me, too. That's what's even worse.
Exactly. He's got my ring.
Yeah,
He's got my ring.
Right, exactly. He whooped our butt. I had the better team in the Super Bowl with more talent on it, and they whooped us. That's probably what irks him and drives him crazy, too. I mean, that
so
really,
I think what's going on, Chris? He's just waiting, and
he's
I don't
fishing,
look.
Right?
Look,
he's fishing. It seems like.
The word is out.
Yes.
And so whether it's the Broncos, whether it's the Bears, whether it's the Vikings, whether it's it ain't going to be the Jaguars because you're not going to work with Trent Baalke again. That's one of those situations where past relationship does not mean future relationship is desired by anyone involved. They hated each other by the time it was over in San Francisco. But all of the vacancies, starting with the Raiders, that's how this all got rolling. The Harbaugh rumors first surfaced with him potentially coaching the Raiders. But, he ultimately wants to go to a spot where he feels like between ownership and general manager, whoever the GM is, will create a situation where he can go win a Super Bowl. And it was 44-19-1. We saw it on the graphic.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
It is.
The 49ers were 6-10 when he showed up, and but for a couple of Kyle Williams muffs against the Giants in the NFC Championship, they go to the Super Bowl in his first year. What a turnaround that would have been. His second year, they go there and they almost win it. His third year, he was still good, but that's when the Jim Harbaugh expiration dates started to creep forward.
Right, and Seattle started to jump on the scene. Yeah,
exactly. And look, folks, when you have a great coach, give him some latitude. Give him a little room. And I'm not just saying Jim Harbaugh. Josh McDaniels in Denver. When you got a guy who's pushing hard and trying to change things, and I know McDaniels didn't have the success right away that Harbaugh did, but some of these guys, they're not getting the latitude they need.
They're not getting a fair shot. No, I agree.
Guess what? Good football coaches can be jerks at times.
Right.
They may say things that you don't want to hear.
That's right.
Because they're trying to get you to be better at your job, whatever your job in the organization may be. You got to give these guys just a little bit of room, not a lot of room. We'll talk later about why you don't want to give them a lot of room, but you want to give them a little room. You want to give them a little room so they can do their thing and turn your team around. And Harbaugh did it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, drastic turnarounds. It usually takes drastic measures to get that to turn around that way. And I think you said it right. You go through the lures of time in the NFL at the head coaching position, and you take the great ones. I mean, none of them are Boy Scouts or band leaders. I mean, that's just not what they are. They're not. The reason they're successful is, they can walk in the building every day and light a fire under everybody's butt, and they're all over the details, and then within that, they're all over their coaches because they want their coaches to be the details because that's how it funnels down to the players too. And yes, I mean, again, how many coaches have I talked to through time who, Belichick, oh gosh, working for him, holy crap. But at the end of that, like, holy crap, is it hard and all that? He looks up and, man, it was good. We won a lot of games. I mean, he taught me a lot. Same thing with like Bill Parcells, and I'm around coaches that have coached for him. Man, he was a pain in the ass. Man, he called me a lot of 4-letter words and all of that. Oh, but man, there's nothing like working for Bill Parcells and what he could do and how he could rally the troops and come through a game plan. So yeah, it's not easy. It's not. I'm sure John Harbaugh in Baltimore. I'm sure there's coaches there. Oh gosh, it's Harbaugh walking in. Here we go. All that's part of it. Sean Payton. He's certainly not going to be easy that way either. But that's what it takes to be a great head coach, to your point. But I agree. Like, I haven't heard anything substantial as far as any team that's really like actually considering Harbaugh at this point. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know the right people.
You're right. You're right.
I haven't heard any of that.
Right.
It does seem like he's just looking for somebody to take some interest in him. And it does seem like he wants back in the NFL for sure. And I understand that. He was a quarterback in the NFL. I think that's really where his heart is. You know, he got to an AFC championship as a quarterback. He's never got that Super Bowl ring as a player or as a coach. And I would envision that's really his dream. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I really don't. You know, he has a bad reputation. He's a different guy. He's weird. I don't know any other way to say it, let alone I don't like him. You know that. Even if I don't like him, he's still weird. I mean, the guy is like this. The first time I met him, I walked up and I went, "Hey, Coach Harbaugh, great to meet you. How you doing?" He went, "Great," with a capital G. And I was like, "What?" I looked around and I was like, "I'm just Chris and I'm here to meet you. What do you I'm Chris with a capital C. I'm not like, you're not pumping me up like he's weird. There's a reason, like, everybody gets sick of him after 2 or 3 years. I think it goes beyond a little bit of what we're talking about with great coaches can be tough on their guy. I mean, to me, I think he sometimes crosses the line as a real jerk that way. And I know that because I've heard that from coaches who have worked for him and people who have been around him. So that's where it's different. And I have a hard time thinking anybody in the NFL is going to go after him in this hiring cycle.
Everything with Jim Harbaugh feels like a competition to the point where – and I picked up on this early in his time with the 49ers. When he's at a press conference, it's like, you know, every question and answer is some sort of an arm wrestling match.
It's uncomfortable.
And he comes up with tentative answers, and he projects them onto an invisible teleprompter and reads them as he's saying them to make sure one last time these are the words I want to say. I mean, it is incredibly awkward to see him in those settings.
It is.
You're right. But
he can coach some football. Exactly. He can coach some football.
You know, if you want to win a Super Bowl, they all say they want to win a Super Bowl. And I feel like this year the teams are being so deliberate and so expansive and so methodical and comprehensive. I feel like they are overlooking some pretty obvious options. We still have yet to hear of any of these 8 teams. Now, I know the Broncos wouldn't do it, but the other 7, nobody's talking to Josh McDaniels.
I'm shocked. I know. I'm shocked. I don't understand it either. You're right. It's a different cycle here. It really is. I mean, again, there's certainly some guys who have never got an opportunity who I think are very deserving. But I'm very surprised by that aspect. Certainly. I mean, I think Josh McDaniels is one of the best coaches in football, sir. And to your point, I was there in Denver with him. I can't even tell you all the circumstances that were going on there behind the scene. The biggest one, and I know I've told you this before, was the team was going broke at the time. So therefore, there wasn't the amount of money able to be spent on free agents and players like that either. So there was some issues there. So, hey, you could come here and be the head coach. We'll give you, this much amount of money to rebuild the team and get it where you want to. You get there and everything gets in order. And now they go, well, all that money we told you could spend on players to go get, we'll let you do like 1/4 of that because we got some cash issues here. And okay, that's a little different ball game here now. I was going to be able to spend this amount of money to get players to change over the roster and get guys that I need from the that don't fit the Mike Shanahan era, that fit my era, and that didn't happen. And I think that was one of the big issues. Like I told you, that year I was on that team. My signing bonus, the Broncos couldn't pay me when I signed the contract. They had to wait until cash came in from the tickets during the season to pay me. So those are things sometimes that go on behind the scenes with some of these coaches that really handicap them that way. It kind of happened to Belichick in Cleveland the first time around. They were going broke too. He couldn't spend any players at all. It's why they moved to Baltimore. And that kind of hurt his whole issue there as well. So, those are the things sometimes, to your point, where it doesn't help out these guys, and you can't just go, oh, wait, it didn't work for him, screw him, don't ever give him a chance again. The context matters in this kind of thing.
And as to Belichick, he's surprised, I believe. The Patriots are surprised, I know, and they're pleasantly surprised. They don't have to worry about Josh McDaniels leaving. One of the best offensive coordinators in football who did incredible work with Mac Jones this year.
Right.
Staying put by all appearances because his name is yet to come up. That's subject to change at any time.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.